Welcome everybody to HCS Source podcast episode number 3. Here we are, my man Tony, and I am active. Why not inactive here in the house today? We've got a lot to talk about and a lot to break down. You're not going to want to miss this episode. Tony, it's been a long week. It's a lot of things going on, a lot of roster mania, dude. Tell me how you're feeling.
Yeah, I mean, I'm feeling great. I mean, unlike the roster mania so far, I'm consistent. I'm stable over here. As far as the HCS rosters, I can't say the same thing. I mean, we're talking about literally 14 of the top 16 teams changing. It's absolutely ridiculous, but I'm feeling great.
I hear that. Definitely incredible to see, and it's daily. We're seeing things daily switching up. Everyone's trying, because that roster lock is coming very, very soon. I believe it's in like 13 days, or it's close. And these teams have to get their rosters locked in and prepared for, of course, the Super that's coming up, and then of course Worlds and Orlando, which are going to be incredible. I'm so excited for Tony. Orlando's, oh man. Orlando's where we come back. All those roster changes are have occurred, and we get to see firsthand who's gonna come out on top. Again, we've talked about FaZe in the past. We've talked about that monster of a roster on paper, but how will it translate to LAN? We're talking, we've got to talk about like Optic and how can they perform on LAN the way they perform online? We know they're able to perform online really well, but the transition to LAN has been very tough for them. So, but first off, starting off the show, we got a topic to talk about, and that is the KCP and E United trade. There's been one trade that has been official, and we talk about this roster mania, and how rosters are kind of, they're changing teammates, and you see the scrims on Halo Data Hive and all that. You see those things come to fruition, but you don't actually see many official changes. And Tony, KCP and E United have made one thing official. Why don't you tell the people what that is?
Yeah, not that I agree with it. If there was one roster that I felt like should have stayed together forever, I truly believe it would have been KCP.
Yeah.
However, KCP recently sending Manny over to E United in exchange for King Nick. So your KCP roster looks like Soul Snipe, Druck, now King Nick, and we also have Soul Snipe, Druck, King Nick, and I'm sorry, I'm blanking on the fourth right now. I just finished playing some Apex, so I'm blanking a little bit here.
It's all good.
But King Nick joining the starting lineup, and they're hoping that he can bring some leadership to the crew. They're hoping that he can bring a little bit of veteranship, because he's been playing for quite some time for a very young KCP roster. Meanwhile, you have now Manny joining Ryan Noob, Rain, and then a mystery fourth. They're hoping kind of a similar thing. They're hoping that, Manny's a very hungry young talent, and they're hoping that Ryan Noob can kind of mold them into the player that he wants to be. The same thing with Rain. These are veterans that we have, and the reason I'm blanking so much is because I literally just got a DM telling me who E United's mystery fourth Smurf was playing in the esports arena open event, and I'm trying to find out if I can release it. That's what I'm trying to find. Live. Right now, I can't release it, but I'm sorry. That's the reason why my mind is so crazy, because literally right before we go live, I just found out who the fourth is, which is absolutely crazy. So I don't know if I'm able to release it just yet, but if I get a DM by the end of this podcast, I will let you guys all know. We'll break it right here live on the show. So I'm sorry. That really caught me off guard. I'm sorry about that.
Well, it was Talik, by the way.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, it's all good. And Tony, we know KCP. You're probably the most knowledgeable person in HCS to know pretty much every team, where they're from, where their grandma's from, where their mom's from. I mean, you know it all. So I'm not, no strike on you at all. But yeah, Talik being the man that we think maybe is kind of, forming this roster. And I've got to talk about this as well. A lot of words about Collect, Tony. I've got to bring this up, okay? We got a lot of words about Collect potentially joining KCP. They've had multiple scrims together, but then again, You look at a live scrim right now. If you look at it right now on Halo Data Hive, it looks like Soul Snipe is back on the team and back to playing with Talik and King Nick. You're getting me all confused. But yeah,
sorry, that's on me. That's on me.
That's all good. It's all good. But like that's the thing, and we talked about this before the show, Tony. Every single day something's changing. Every single day these rosters, are changing. Different players in and putting different players out. And again, until you see something official, like we saw with that trade from United to KCP and the opposite way as well, you never know. You never know what you're going to go into Supers with. You don't know what you're going to go into Orlando with, and that's just what it comes down to. But I've got to talk about this Collect thing, because let me tell you something. I really do think that Collect is a player who would fit that KCP roster so well. If you watch some of his gameplay, you see how he plays. He's a very aggressive, forward-pushing player, but also very confident. And that literally, Tony, it fits KCP. To be honest, Tony, I have to disagree with you here. I'm putting you on the chopping block right now. KCP, I know you said you want them to stay together. I know you've got a real big history with these guys from Halo 5, making their way through. We love the story of a team sticking together. But let's be honest with you. Let's be honest with ourselves. I don't think that roster breaks top 4 again, or top 3 in Orlando or Worlds. I don't think it happens. I truly don't. And I think they needed something to potentially take them to that next level. And I think that King Nick might be the thing that they needed. I don't know how he's going to fit in terms of play style, but I mean, what do you think? Like, do you think that, let's say we remove Manny from the situation. Do you think that King Nick fits his role and fits it better than Manny would? What do you think about that?
I really enjoy King Nick. I love him as a player,
Yeah.
but looking at the results that they've been able to put up, in some of the scrims,
Yeah.
we haven't seen the jump, the leap that we want to see with just King Nick. Now, when they introduce King Nick and Collect, things change up a little bit, but Collect still on SSG.
Right.
They had Soul Snipes scrim with the one day, then Collect, then it's back to Soul Snipe, then back to Collect. So far, it's like the third change with Soul Snipe this time, but so far we haven't seen the level of consistency in scrims.
Right.
The only thing going for Pioneers right now is that even with King Nick, they were able to make it into the top 8 through the winners bracket.
Okay.
That to me is good. So amongst all of the scrims that we've seen, at least they were able to make it through. But I mean, even then, you're still getting 10-3 by Complexity.
Yep.
You're still getting 8-4 by G1. You're still, so I know I'm not going to put everything on scrims.
Yeah.
But I will say, you practice how you game.
Right.
If you put in the work in practice, and then those good habits carry over into tournament play.
Right.
And as of right now, I haven't seen the results that I want to see from KCP, whether with King Nick or with Manny. So far, it's been an up and down roller coaster, and hopefully they start going more upward soon.
Yeah, and it's something I'm thinking to myself, and just based off of, now this is one little tiny chat that was put in during the LVT Tashi interview, and we'll talk about that in a little bit as well. But in the chat at one point during that interview, you'll see that Rami said #FreeCollect. And to me, that is another Spartan situation. Now, again, no official sources, not sure how true this is. I don't even know if Rami and Collect are friends, but regardless, Rami had mentioned that. And I'm thinking to myself, with the back and forth that's going on, maybe they can't acquire a Collect because of the fact that the contract or the buyout is way too large for him. And we've talked about buyouts in the past. Like, some of these buyouts are real large. Okay, we're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars to be bought out of your contract. And not a lot of these organizations, with the state of the way Halo is right now, Halo Esports is doing great, but the state of Halo as a whole right now, a lot of these orgs don't really want to put down that kind of money. FaZe, they just went public. I mean, you could literally buy FaZe stock right now. These guys have the money. They have the money to put forward. That's why I guarantee they've got Renegade and they've got Spartan. Nothing official as of yet, but FaZe has that cash to put forward. Does KCP, does United have the cash to put forward towards a player like Collect? That's the question. And I think honestly, Soul Snipe's a great guy. I think he's a great dude, great player. I like how he's played on this team. I think he's had his streaks of performance. I think he's also had some low points as well, like anyone else. But I think Collect really fits that role. And, I'd love to see more scrims with Collect and hopefully see them pick Collect up. But as of right now, it looks like there's probably some issues going on there in terms of contract and all that stuff. But I mean, what do you think about Collect on that team? Like, I really do. I feel like his play style just fits so perfectly with. You talk to any pro team in the league right now, they'll tell you what KCP is, and that KCP is the most aggressive team in HCS. Like, yes, you're able to deal with them, but if you have a Collect and a King Nick on your team, a King Nick that can kind of pace the game, and then a Collect that plays that confidence, aggressive style, man, I think that team looks really solid with that roster.
I think the issue for me is that when you think of KCP in a nutshell, you think of a squad that brings a level of objective efficiency that is matched by no other. And the reason for that is for the plays that don't show up on the stat sheet. For example, like whenever I think of KCP, specifically Soul Snipe, I go back to Halo 5 Coliseum. I go back to when you're playing against this squad, you have to deal with the three-headed monster, Talik, Manny, and Druck,
right,
flying on your snipe side,
right,
playing fast, getting in your face, playing aggressive, and then while that's happening, you have Soul Snipe pushing the elbow side on Coliseum. Those three are dealing with they're trading out lives, they're doing everything possible. You're getting overwhelmed by the pressure coming on the snipe side. You have to dedicate all of your resources to watching it, right. And then as all this is happening, your flag gets pulled, right. Or your flag taken, and you're like, the hell is going on? Everything's happening all at once. So now you have to decide if you're going to continue to push snipe side, because that's where you have to overextend to stop that flag from going elbow side. The problem is you still have to deal with Druck and Talik and Manny that are sitting there and pressuring you from that side. The things that Soul Snipe does doesn't show up on the stat sheet. It's the willingness to trust your teammates and to overextend and to pull that flag. And then he has the awareness of, okay, do they have the slaves? Do we have positioning? Do we have timing? If they do, he's out with that flag.
Right.
He's gone. He's absolutely gone with it. If he's not, he's also just as fast, just as aggressive, maybe a little reckless at times. But again, it's the things that don't show up in the stat sheet because it's all about that timing. And I promise you, if they get that timing, that flag goes through. Even if not, the enemy team still has to dedicate their resources to killing you.
Yeah.
Then return to the flag, and they're never on offense. So what happens is KCP spawns up, they can keep the pressure on. They're always on the offensive, but again, it starts and it ends with plays that Soul Snipe make that, again, to me, do not show up on this on that stat sheet. And I love me some Soul Snipe. I think his movement is absolutely fantastic. He's an entry frag player. His ability to put shots, and when he commits to it, he can stay alive because it's very creative with his movement when he's willing to commit to it. And I think that's the only thing missing from his repertoire. He'll tell you himself, by the way, is sometimes he doesn't value his life the way that he should, and it seemingly comes off reckless. But if you do the eyeball test, I promise you, KCP's objective efficiency is largely because of what Soul Snipe brings to the table. And if they do bolster their firepower, maybe they get a little stronger. So I'm not going to say Collect, is not he's a high firepower player. So right. we'll see how things go. But like I said, I'm a big fan of Soul Snipe because when I think of KCP, I think of what Soul Snipe brings to the table to make them so strong in objective play.
Yeah, I agree, and you kind of saw that with Final Boss way back in the day. I mean, I'm talking from a boomer standpoint here, but with Final Boss taking off Walshy off the squad, they ended up losing to Final. Final Boss ended up beating. Walshy ended up beating Final Boss, the team that took him off with, I believe it was. Oh my gosh, I can't think of this freaking name right now. TD, I believe. I think it was TD, or it was one of those, but it was a long time ago. I really do think that there is a style of play that is not, that, like you said, does not show up. And I think when you kind of remove the dynamic, you start to really see, wow, why isn't this happening anymore? Why isn't this happening anymore? And it's because of the work that goes in, that player does in the game that will, help you, like you said, pull the objective or open up scenarios in the map, open up lanes in the map. And yeah, I agree. I think that, in my opinion, I think Collect has that. I just think that, honestly, I think that he is still a young player. What is he, 18 or 19? I think he's a young player still, and I think he's got a lot of learning to do in terms of, like, He's an FFA player, so automatically as an FFA player, you have that really aggressive play style. But I think that like with a little bit of time, he can get molded into the Force player that he can be. And if that happens, the guy's going to be unstoppable. I think he's going to be one of the best in the game. We talked about this last week on the episode last week. I really do think that Collect has the potential to be one of the best players in the game if he's kind of molded correctly. And with a guy like King Nick on your team, I think King Nick has the ability to make that happen for him. And we'll have to see. You know, the changes are happening every single day, so we'll see what happens. But nothing. You can't really trust anything until it's official. You can't trust it until you see an announcement on an org page. You can't trust it. You know, even the phase roster that we all know is probably going to happen. It's not happening until it's official on the phase pay as a phase announcement. But speaking of orgs,
right now, by the way,
that's awesome. All right, God, I'm gonna watch that later if they have it. Hopefully someone's streaming. Speaking of orgs, though, Tony, we got to talk about BBG. BBG has now left Halo.
If you don't mind, since we already talked about EU United and KCP,
absolutely.
Why don't we talk about might as well talk about the flip side? You know, let's just briefly talk about the fact that Ryan Dubrain and Manny were caught playing and screaming with a Smurf. I think that's worth just quickly glancing over.
Yeah,
because I know you said you're big on KCP if they make the change. I know you said you're big on joining KCP. I know you said you're big on if Collect possibly joins, but again, we've only seen them scram. We don't know exactly what's going on there. Right. As far as EU United, how do you feel about Ryan Dubrain, Manny, and Mystery Fourth by any chance?
And you know the Mystery Fourth is right. You just can't tell us yet. I like that squad. I think when I look at Ryan Dubrain, I just think veteran, period. Like a lot of veteran just mind, like the mindset of a veteran Halo player. And then I think of Manny, who's been in the scene for a very long time. His playstyle doesn't really go with Ryan Dubrain. I feel like, I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like Manny, again, is that like very aggressive push forward player, and maybe Ryan Dubrain can kind of mold him, and they will, you know, in the end, they will work on the fact that they, you know, obviously have to meld play styles together. It really, that fourth is a big one for me. Like, who is the fourth? Like, that fourth could change everything. You know what I mean? And unfortunately, we don't know, and maybe we will know by the end of the podcast if you get word that you can say something. But to me, it all depends on the fourth. As a three, as Ryan Dubrain and Manny, just them three, I don't like it. I'm gonna be honest. It doesn't, to me, it doesn't scream firepower. I don't know why. I look at Ryan Dubrain as two players that are just overall very intelligent, that will, I don't look at them as the outplay potential players, you know, that are just gonna outshoot you, outgun you, and out-rotate you. I look at them more as like the methodical, smart, intelligent play, and then Manny is the quite opposite. So it all depends on that fourth for me, Tony.
So I said this before. I think I might have said it on your podcast or one of my videos. I'm not sure which one. Either way, when I looked at EU United, I kind of had a similar, I guess a similar soliloquy as you put out there. You know, Ryan Dubrain, they are phenomenal players, but you have to put slayers with them. Like, right. I'm talking players that can stuff the stat sheet, because they can then mold those young players that are hungry and ultimately turn them into winners. I truly believe that. So when I looked at Manny, I think of Manny in his young career, the one thing he's missing right now is efficiency, that consistency. That's what I think Manny's missing. As far as Manny, to me, is the ultimate X factor. When he's playing at his best, he's going toe to toe with the best in the game. Yeah, but it doesn't matter.
He's so inconsistent, though. Don't you agree? Like, do you agree that Manny's an inconsistent player?
I do. Yeah. But again, so I'm thinking, who better to mold him and to get that consistency out of him than a big brain like Ryan do?
That is a good point.
And like just like you, the fourth has to also be able to stuff that stat sheet. Right. They have to be able to utilize the communication that Ryan Dubrain is feeding to them. I hear that Rain is one of the most underrated players that we have in our game, especially because of his communication. From what I'm hearing.
Yeah, I would agree. With that.
So when I thought of that, I'm like, okay, so their fourth has to be a Slayer. So you got to be stealing like a Sab, Suspector, a Falcate, a Collect, and one of you got to steal with absolute monster stuff the stat sheet in order for that team to succeed. And I will say they are stealing a monster. Okay. And when you guys hear the fourth, I'm trying to get permission to say right now.
No, I gotta say something. Like, if it's Collect, because United has the cash, right? like KCP doesn't have the cash. E United has the cash, and I hope you're not making any facial expressions right now. But if it's collect, dude, yes, this works 100%. This is a great roster, but E United has the money, so I could see it happening. You know, I could see maybe KCP just not being able to buy out collect, and then E United turning around and getting him instead because Manny, you know, maybe Manny's watched collect play and really thinks that he'll fit, but the other ones I think Foul's on his.
I'm just talking about those type of players.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Okay.
And they're not usually literally getting Falcon. I mean, Falcon is not going anywhere. But I'm just saying a player that can slay is what I'm referring to.
Okay, I think if just personally, like you brought collect to the table, just you know, as players like that. And now I'm thinking to myself, okay, like if collect was on that squad, that would work as well. But I still like him better on the KCP roster. I just don't think the KCP, and we'll talk about that. I think that's one of the reasons why that maybe they didn't get selected. We talked about that last week, but I kind of want to touch on it again. I think on the KCP roster would be better, but I don't think that's realistic. So, do you have any other thoughts on it that you want to talk about, Tony?
Anything I say would kind of divulge what it is. The only thing I can say is the person who was playing on the Smurf during the event has DM'd me and let me know that he is the Smurf.
Okay. So
that's all I can say.
Fine. Absolutely. We love that, Tony. We love that. We love I love it. I love when you don't tell me things because I can just be on the edge of my seat and just enjoy. But I do want to move on real quick.
Yeah, sorry.
No, it's okay. That was good. Some good insight there. I want to move on real quick to the of course the BBG BBG Leaving Halo, which is very very rough for Halo. I think Built by Gamers is a great org, and they had some great players on the squad, but unfortunately they are leaving. I'm gonna read you real quick the statement put out by them really fast, just so you guys can see or hear what happened. But it says, "We love the game of Halo. We've been playing it for 20 years, and the love of this game is why BBG was founded." I think that's for a lot of orgs, honestly. "We've worked to roster the most interesting and competitive team possible, and are immensely proud of the success we've seen. This week we learned we're narrowly beat out in the final round of consideration for HCS partnership, along with a lot of other orgs. This comes as a major disappointment. We appreciate the process and don't envy the decision HCS had to make. Today we make the difficult decision to release our current Halo roster as we evaluate our appropriate go-forward approach. We owe an immense debt of gratitude to Nemesis, King J, Minds, Bohm, Nebula, and of course Coach Cobb for grinding every day to perform and represent BBG at the highest level." Anyway, I think that this is a bit sad. I think the BBG was a great roster, and yes, I agree with their statement that they were, the players they brought on were definitely a great group of guys, especially Coach Cobb. Like, I love that he was coaching again. He was kind of involved in Halo in that sense. I think he's got a big brain for Halo, and I think that can be definitely utilized. I think a lot of the top players are big brains for Halo, and the thing about Halo is it never changes. Okay, you can be a pro in Halo 2 and still understand the game at that level into Halo Infinite. It's just the fundamentals don't change. There's just some things that change in between the fundamentals. But yeah, it's sad for BBG. Tony, what do you think about this? What do you think about this news? This is kind of sad, seeing orgs leave Halo, and I really hope this is not a normalcy. I hope this is not something we tend to see every week, and I'm a little worried about that come out after Worlds. Like, are we still going to see the optics of the world be in there? Are we still going to see United, Fnatic? Like, these are some big orgs that bring big names to Halo and, big, views to Halo, and seeing them leave would be rough. But, yeah, what do you think?
I really like BBG, okay. Number one. So from the little bit that I did see from the organization, I really enjoyed them. I really do. I know I'm being told that the reason for them leaving is not because they weren't accepted into the partnership. But still, like, it almost feel, I mean, with the timing, to me, it does feel like it. And if that is the case, I don't feel like we were in Halo for the right reason. If that is the case. Okay. If it is, I mean, I know they said it wasn't, but the timing of it just seems really, really convenient. Right. And there was a lot of organizations that deserve to be a partner. And I wish they would. I wish they opened up to 9 more.
Yeah.
Because in that case, you would have seen BBG coming. You would have seen XN, G1, and KCP.
Yeah.
But as far as who makes it in, you're talking about what, 2, maybe 3.
Yeah.
In my opinion, BBG, you just walked in. Like, how you gonna walk to the fridge and you gonna walk to the fridge and open up my beer, bro? You just walked in. I don't even know you.
Yeah,
like, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I don't even know you.
Yeah,
you walking in my house, gonna walk to my fridge and just open up a beer and sit in my spot. Like, I'm gonna go shelled it on you. Like, no, get out of my spot. Like, you have it. Like, so I like I said, I heard that's not the reason why. And I'm sad to see Built by Gamers go. Because I truly believe that, first of all, number one, right now, HCS numbers are doing really good, actually.
Oh yeah.
As far as the metric go, and as far as the HCS watching numbers, they're doing good.
Yeah.
As far as the Halo game, I think we have a good core, a good fundamentals, and I think, I'm not even joking. I think we're a few quality of life adjustments away. I will say quality of life adjustments, some more content, and a battle royale away from having a resurgence.
Yeah.
Like you give us those 3 things. I'm sorry, and I'm gonna say 4 because I'm gonna include Forge and custom browser along with that as well. Yeah. You give us those 4 things, and we take off. Like, legitimately, we legitimately take off. So I think investing that time, investing the money, I think it's a good investment. I really do, but sadly, Built by Gamers did not, so they ended up leaving and whatnot. And like I said, I hope if it's because they didn't get partnered, stay off my beer, kind of thing. Right. I don't even know you.
Right. I'm a little worried. I'm a little worried because based off of what Tashi said in the LVT interview, we're not going to be like, we're probably. He had literally mentioned that we're probably going to give them hate, knowing who the new partner teams were. And of course, they're not announced yet because they are running through contract stuff, which is understandable. But like, when I hear that, I was hoping like a Complexity comes out of the mix, because obviously they're a huge org, and Tim the Tapman involved and all of that stuff.
They're not 100 Thieves.
Yeah, Dallas Mavericks. I don't see 100 Thieves because personally, I feel like if we were to see 100 Thieves instead of KCP, we would never wince. We wouldn't care. Like, we'd be like, okay, like, this is understandable. This is great. But when Tashi says something like, hey, you guys are probably going to give us hate for the people that we brought in. He didn't say it in those exact words, but, we're going to get, we're probably going to get hate, and people are going to be like, oh, you should have brought on KCP instead. To me, that means 100 Thieves is out. That means even possibly Complexity's out. That means Luminosity's out. Like, these are the big orgs that I think are not involved, but maybe I'm wrong. I'm personally, if I was in HCS's shoes, which I'm not a businessman. I don't know anything. I'm a businessman in the sense that I run my stream and that's my business. But otherwise, I'm not a businessman in the sense that I don't know, the ecosystem of how HCS works and what they need. But I'm assuming that it's all numbers based. It's all money based, like any other business. Who's going to make us the most money, which is understandable. And if that's the case, then I would assume bigger orgs with bigger followings would be involved. But hearing that we're going to be potentially giving hate or disappointed, maybe I listened to him wrong. Maybe I, misquoted or whatever. I'm not even quoting him, but maybe I heard it wrong. That scares me a little bit personally, because honestly, I would like to see, if KCP got beat out, and we all love KCP. I don't think we're going to know why, but he kind of explained it in the sense that like, we scratch their back, they scratch ours kind of thing. And to me, that means numbers, bringing in money, etc. And KCP wasn't able to provide that. Like, I don't know. Like, I mean, I think Complexity is one of them. What are your thoughts? Like, who else could be Luminosity, Complexity? Who else am I missing here? That could be the,
my picks. If 3 Quadrant, Ascend, then Pittsburgh Knights.
Okay.
That would be my 3. My 3 that I would think. Not including like a big org like 100 Thieves or someone else coming in.
Yeah.
Which I still think may be a possibility.
To me, like, when I think of 100 Thieves, I'm automatically thinking the best team in the game. Well, who do they have left? Like, who do they have left to pick? I mean, there's a little bit of a roster mania going on, but like, the big names are already kind of like taken up a little by, unless they come out and fully buy out a team, like they fully go out and buy out Sentinels or something. That's a possibility. But I don't know how long these contracts go for, but I would assume till the end of the year. or the full season. So we'll see. But 100 Thieves would be awesome. I mean, I know that Nate Shot's talked about it. I believe, right, Tony? He's talked about coming to Halo a couple times.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like there's interest, but I mean,
right.
Like you said, who is it? Like, are you grabbing McWin and Pistola and waiting for some more roster mania? Like, are you planning on buying out another roster? Yeah, like you said, it's what are their plans going forward if they choose to jump into Halo? Because as of right now, it seems to be a little bit tough. But I mean, either way, I think if you don't include a giant org like that, I still got to send Quadrant and maybe Pittsburgh Knights, maybe.
Okay. I do want to touch on something else you said. HCS doing really well. I was in the chat, man, and I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, I love the Halo community to death, but like that chat sometimes it just gets me going. I tried to shut up because I usually type something, but I'm trying to be more professional. And Tony, everyone loves you, man, and I want some love, so I'm trying to be nice. Can you call that fake? No, I'm holding back. But when I'm hearing Tashi like talk about, hey, HCS is doing so well, we've crushed the goals we've set for ourselves, and we've done all this, and et cetera, to me, like, to see the chat be like, what are you talking about? We're doing terrible, blah, blah, blah. Like, I don't know if they're like tying 3-4-3 together with HCS, but like, HCS is literally carrying this game in a sense. Like, without HCS, I don't know where we'd be, but like, HCS is doing a great job. They're a separate group than 3-4-3. They obviously are under 3-4-3, but a completely separate group. So we can't like hate on HCS. Like, I think they're doing really well. And what we've heard about like the Mangler and stuff, and how they have to go through the insights team and the multiplayer design team. Like, oh my, that is a headache in and of itself. No wonder why nothing can get done. I understand, but I still think HCS is doing well. Tony, how many viewers, you and Shyway casted something, right? How many viewers did you guys have at KC?
So during the losers bracket semifinals, me and Shyway casted the main broadcast, and we peaked at a little over 123,000 viewers, which is rivaling the likes of Apex were with their first few days of coverage and whatnot. It's up there. And if you look at Tashi's title, his title is Halo Esports and Viewership Lead at Microsoft/343 Industry. Right. So it would make sense that when he's talking about them doing good as far as HCS wise, he's talking about their viewership numbers, which as far, I'm sure they probably went and said, we have these metrics that we want to hit, chatters, on top of peak viewers, on top of concurrent viewers. Right. And I bet if you look at those metrics, they did smash it. That was a large reason of that because of drops, maybe. But possibly, even watching the European the Valencia, there was a good amount of concurrent viewers, maybe not as much as in North America, but as far as their numbers and their peaks, they actually blew them out of the water again. I don't know if Valencia even had drops. To be honest, I don't think it did.
It did. But
okay, I apologize.
No.
I mean, either way, as far as I'm assuming from his opinion, from his point of view, it's. Look, we wanted to these numbers as far as peak viewers, as far as concurrent viewers, and as far as chatters. That was my job, and we hit it. Right now, I love the Halo community. I love the passion that we see and whatnot. And trust me, I mean, I'm not stupid. Is the game where we want it to be?
No,
absolutely not. Like I'm not sitting here. I'm not sitting here trying to be a shill and be ignorant to the fact that we aren't where we want to be. Nope. However, I think we should give credit where credit's due. Agreed. And in the midst of the game being where it is in the public eye and where it is as far as, players playing, within a 24-hour period, 343 is doing a damn good job of still retaining viewership. And that's, again, leads to the fact that this game's core is good.
It is good.
It's fun on a pro level. This game is fun to watch. Yep. And that's why I keep saying quality of life adjustments, content, Forge, and Battle Royale.
Yep.
Those four things I'm telling you, don't give up just yet. We knocked down, but we ain't knocked out. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I 100% agree with you, Tony. And I want to touch on that. And we're going to talk about Battle Royale here in a little bit, guys. We have a segment on that, so definitely don't turn off.
We talking Battle Royale?
Yeah, we're going to talk Battle Royale, man. We've got a lot to talk about. But I do want to just touch on a couple things, and then we're going to go into our 2 community segments. But I want to touch on a couple things you had said, and I agree. I think that the game as a foundational game is phenomenal. I think everyone thinks that that's the case. I think that from a content creation standpoint, is really difficult to create content for a game that doesn't have content, and that's why we've kind of moved into I've moved into the HCS section, and so have you. You know, you've been releasing tons of YouTube videos that are doing phenomenal. I think the HCS is thriving, and that's where the focus needs to be in terms of content. But I do agree that the game has a foundation. I think that the biggest problems for me, and you talked about some of your problems that needs to be fixed. The biggest problem for me, the couple of problems that I think need to be fixed are, number one, performance. And that kind of is a grand scope of desync, server problems, et cetera, all of that stuff.
That's my quality of life that I was referred to.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And then ranked, if you have no reason to play this game except for seeing a number go up in your Onyx, like, there's no reason to play. Like, no one's going to want to play if there's nothing to shoot for. That dopamine that you get from hitting champion, that dopamine you get from, like, seeing your rank rise and, slowly go up or whatever, is huge for a lot of these people. There's nothing to shoot for right now. What the hell is there? You go into ranked, and I'm Onyx 1750 or whatever on mouse and keyboard, but, like, I got, in the open playlist, I got people that are, like, Diamond 1 on my team, and they're going, like, 5 and 50. Like, I can't play with that. Like, no offense to that guy, it's not his fault that he's in our game, but, like, to me, the ranking system, it creates longevity for a lot of the base players that you still have. If you still have these players, they're here, they're not going anywhere, but you got to create something for them to shoot for. There's got to be something to fight for in the game. There's got to be something to earn. And I'm not talking weekly rewards. I'm not talking any of that stuff. I'm talking, like, things that you can say, hey, I got this because I worked my butt off. Like, there's got to be that. We got to rework the ranking system. We got to get performance overall, like you said, quality of life, all in general performance. And then once we do both of those things, we put a champion rank in there. But that's got to happen, like, soon, because I think a lot of people are kind of losing their patience. And I don't know how long HCS can hold this freaking mountain above their head. They're doing a great job, but I don't know how much longer. I mean, I'm going to be here forever. I'm going to be honest with you. I love Halo to death, and I'll be here for the longest time, as long as the game's still, live. But I don't think a lot of people are the same. And so that's why I think those things are definitely priority, in my opinion. So it's tough, but I do think that we can get somewhere. And of course, we're going to talk about Battle Royale, Tony, in a minute here. But let's transition real quick to our community spotlight. Now, the community spotlight this week, we spotlight someone who's in the Halo community that has been working hard and kind of, just getting their name out there and doing tons of Halo content or casting for Halo, etc., all of that stuff. And the person I want to spotlight is going to be Magic Moonshot. Okay, actually, she doesn't even know that we're spotlighting her, so you guys let her know on Twitter. But we're spotlighting Magic Moonshot. She is a Halo caster and content creator. She's been seen on LVT Productions, Xbox, Lady Spartans, Advanced GG, Air Force Gaming, and a whole bunch of other spots. She's definitely, like, really injected herself in the scene. She's also a mother as well, and she finds time to cast and get all these casting gigs. I believe she will be doing Apex as well shortly, but just a great overall caster, great content creator, and that's why I want to make her our community spotlight today. Tony, do you have any kind words to say about Magic?
Yeah, I mean, when you asked me about who my vote would be, I mean, right off the rip, I said Magic Moonshot, right off the rip, and for someone so new to the community, at least new to me, it's to come in and hit the ground running the way she has, starting from the bottom while casting, while being a female caster at that, which, by the way, is not easy. You read the chat, there's some nasty stuff being said out there for literally no reason, and to come in, put her head down, and keep grinding, keep improving and whatnot. I've got to pair with her many times, and for her to keep up with someone like me, I'm a lot. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a lot, and she's right there going blow to blow and taking the lead. And And I think it's phenomenal. Then, you go into the content creation side. She's hosted multiple women's tournaments, which has been absolutely amazing. I think she's been very, very good for the scene. And when I think of young casters, content creators, and individuals that want to get involved in Halo, I'm thinking of you can't cheat the grind.
Right.
And if there's one thing that she has done, she has simply not cheated the grind, and that's what's impressed me, to be honest with you. So, like I said, you asked me about the Women Community Spotlight, and I think I instantly snapped and said Magic Moonshot.
Yep.
And there's a reason for that. I think she is absolutely phenomenal, and she has a bright future in this league and in this community.
Yeah, and you can see her right there, guys. Sorry, Tony's webcam's a little bit messed up. That's my fault. But you can see her right there on the screen. Make sure you give her a follow. She is awesome. I also posted it inside of the Twitch chat. Make sure you give her a follow and show her some love. Definitely let her know that she's appreciated being in the Halo scene and going through everything she's gone through and putting that grind in. Very, very important here. Now, I do want to really quickly move on. We have another segment in our podcast, guys. If those of you guys that don't know, it's called the Clip of the Week. Now, this is kind of where we spotlight a clip on Halo and something sick, something that kind of gets us going a little bit. And this one, Tony,
gets us going.
Yeah, gets us going. That sort of way. Gets us real going. This one's gonna be Mint Blitz. Okay, now this guy, we all know that Mint Blitz has some crazy clips. But this is one that we're gonna kind of react to together. Tony, I'm gonna put a countdown here so you can start at the same time as me, since I don't have the ability to put it on screen so you can see it at the same time. But I want to spotlight this. Mint Blitz is a great content creator. He's on YouTube. He also streams on Twitch as well. Just a great overall dude, and he's been grinding the game for a long time. He started with MCC, and now he's pushing over to Infinite and still doing some crazy things. A lot of his things are known for like the campaign stuff that he does. But anyway, we're gonna start it in 3, 2, 1, play. All right, he's got a bulldog. Okay. Let's see, I think he's got a sniper in his back pocket as well. The bulldog's so strong, and this guy's playing 152 ping. Tony, double kill. Ooh. Oh my god.
Okay.
No way!
That's mouse and keyboard right there, right?
And it's still going. Oh my word. That is absolutely insane. I'm gonna watch that one more time. That is absolutely now the 360. You know how many times I've tried that, by the way? I have tried to do a repulse 360 so many times and never have hit it. And he just does it. Look at it with ease. Look. Boom. Oh gosh.
Over the drop wall too.
Over the drop wall, that's right.
If that player backstab at a drop wall, like ruins the clip right there.
Oh my goodness gracious. That was absolutely insane. Again, incredible player. Make sure you guys check him out. If you don't know who he is, Mint Blitz, I will post his Twitter in the chat as well.
Who's Mint Blitz? Some random,
Blitz.
I guess.
I know, right? Who is that guy? What the heck, dude? Why are we talking about
NFL? I know NFL Blitz. I don't know.
Wait, did you play that game back in the day, man? That was the best game.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh.
I love just piling, making people fly, do 367 20s when I hit them. Oh, this is the best game ever. That game was amazing. But anyway, Tony, now we got to move on, my friend. The best part of the entire show, and that's to talk about the battle. Tony!
Sorry.
Jeez. That's to talk about the Battle Royale, guys. Now, listen, I want to start this by saying, and I'm gonna go first. I'm gonna give you an idea of what I think the Battle Royale will look like, and then I want you to talk about it. But I got to give a little disclaimer first, Tony, and that is that a lot of people in the Halo community don't like Battle Royale, and that's completely understandable. You guys are playing Halo Arena. I get it. The arena shooter genre. You don't want Battle Royale mixing and coming into your house, like Tony said, and stealing your beer or whatever. I get it. But I think for Halo's growth, Battle Royale is important if done correctly. I think it could do really well for Halo's growth. I think a lot of content creators are all about it, and I think it could do really well, like I said, if done correctly. So let me continue by telling you what my Battle Royale Halo would look like. For those of you guys that don't know, there was a game called H1Z1. Now, this game was like, I think this was like the first quote-unquote Battle Royale after like the mods and stuff, because there were some Battle Royale mods that you saw Lyric play. Like, Lyric is kind of the guy, he's a streamer, for those of you guys that don't know. He's kind of the guy that discovered Battle Royale in a sense, because there was this mod for Armor 2 that was a Battle Royale mod, and he would play it all the time. And he played it on stream, very successful. He was averaging like 2,000 viewers at that point. Very successful with this mod, but H1Z1 came after that. And it was like very successful. We're talking like some names like Dr. Disrespect, a couple others, made their name off of H1Z1. And when I think of Halo Battle Royale, I automatically think of H1Z1. And this is why. H1Z1, you would drop from the sky, you'd land in a house, and in that house would be a AK, an M4 or an M16 or whatever, and a shotgun. You'd have like, pretty much spread out. You'd have one of those guns in each house. Okay, so you'd get those guns and pretty much, I would say within the first 4 minutes, if you didn't die, you'd have a loadout where you'd have you'd have armor, you'd have like at least level 1 armor, you'd have a AK or an M16, and then you'd have a shotty. All right. I think this works perfect for Halo because in H1Z1, the thing that made it so great is that everybody had the same type of loadout. Like when they drop down, you're fighting someone with an AK long range, you're fighting someone with a M16 long range regardless, and then they have a shotgun in their back pocket if it gets to close range. That was the loadout that pretty much everyone had, and then armor was depending on what you picked up. And then from the crate, a random crate would fall from the sky from a plane, you would get a sniper rifle. That was H1Z1. And it just came down to who had the most skill. Who had a better, you could two-tap people in that game. So who had the better two-tap? You'd get the helmet off of them with one shot, and the second shot would kill them with a headshot. You could two-tap someone if you're good enough. That game, I think, fits Halo perfectly in the sense that obviously things wouldn't be the same, but in the sense that you have a battle rifle or a DMR, and then you have like a close-range weapon as a secondary, and everyone's kind of got that loadout and is able to utilize that. I think Battle Royale for Halo could do so well with that type of thing. But, Tony, we've talked about this together, and I'll let you touch on this a little bit, but Last Spartan Standing is kind of like a mini Battle Royale, like we talked about, and it's not doing so hot. So, like, when you see a Halo Battle Royale, first off, like, obviously, I think you'd enjoy that because we both got done playing Apex before the show, and we're going to go back to play after the show. But, like, what do you see in a Halo Battle Royale that you would want? Is it, like, more like Apex, or tell me about it.
Yeah, I think it should be exactly like Apex. I think we should have Lifeline and Lobas. Number one. No. I mean, I'll be honest. I like your take where, like, very similar to what we're used to with Halo. You start off with similar weapons and it's a little consistent. But to me personally, that's not even of that importance. Like, I don't mind the randomness when it comes to Battle Royale. I truly don't.
Okay.
What matters to me is just, to me, my perfect Battle Royale is you drop in as ODST. You drop in that freaking pod. Boom.
Yeah.
Hit fast. It comes in quick. And right from there, you're finding, maybe different levels of Spartan armor.
Okay.
As you start to level up that health and whatnot. On top of that, you find, your random weapons and whatnot. And maybe even like in Halo 5, where there could be different variations of the weapons. We saw a lot of different combinations, which was really interesting, which I think could be really cool. Maybe not exactly like attachments, but like somewhat like it.
Yeah.
And to me, I think the best way to do it is just like, dude, hit at the nostalgia, so you're gonna bring in a new audience no matter what. Once you say Battle Royale in Halo,
oh yeah,
you're bringing Nick Merckx, you're bringing the Cloaksies, you're bringing they coming, don't worry. But then hit at the hearts of the hardcore Halo 3, like Halo needs to be Halo 3 and that's it. It needs to be you're sprinting. Why is he sprinting?
Right.
No. Like, so how do you please them? Hit at that heart. I'm talking every single major POI is a different map. Woo! The major POI being Valhalla's and Last Resorts. The small ones like Guardians, the Pits, throw in some Halo 5 as well, Coliseums. Want to have those POIs be different maps from back in the day. And that's how you tug at the heartstrings of some of those classic naysayers that I would never play a Battle Royale no matter what.
Yeah.
Really? Not if you're going to drop on Valhalla or Guardian.
Right.
Oh, well, hold on. I didn't know that. I guess I just won't even press my sprint button. That's
awesome. That voice,
I think that to me is something that would make the Battle Royale great for the newcomers coming in, but also maybe appease some of the never changers, if you will, as well. So that's what my battle royale looks like. Like I said, I love your idea. You know, hey, if you want to be consistent, 'cause that's one thing that Halo's always had. Everybody always starts on an even playing ground, which is really important to Halo's ecosystem, which I think that could work. But for me personally, I don't mind the randomness. I could back up to lobby and start a new one. It's really not that serious. Like that's what battle royales are all about to me. So I personally don't mind the randomness, but I think dropping is that ODST, leveling up the armor, changing armors, landing on POYs that's very familiar to all of us being previous maps, and it could bring in some newer POYs as well, of course. Bring in some new stuff. It's a big map. I think that's the way I want my battle royale to be.
I kind of like that. I think that you know, when you get into the psychological part of the game, I think that's very important to keep people playing. I think there's like what we talked about. I think I brought up dopamine before, but it's a big word. Like we're all kind of so heavily like engulfed in dopamine every single day that, you know, if a game doesn't have something like that kind of triggers that dopamine in you, you're not going to want to play it very long. And you know, in Apex and in Fortnite, you know, Fortnite started with this. It's the colors, right? It's those like bright little colors when you open up a crate and you're like, ooh, I got a gold shield, you know, like stuff like that is so important. So when it comes to that stuff, my idea is kind of out the window. And I think, honestly, we do need to focus on the casual crowd a little bit more. I think that Apex has done a really good job of, number one, balancing mouse and keyboard and controller. You're on controller. You're bad, by the way, Tony. Balancing mouse and keyboard and controller, but also balancing the fact that the competitive side of Apex, where you have those shields where, you know, your Evo shield is able to be kind of risen up in ranked, where you can, you know, do damage and get your Evo shield up. That way you don't have to just like come across one or whatever. Kind of it reduces that randomness just a little bit. And I think having RNG is okay, but like also reducing it is very important, I think, to the competitive ecosystem of the game. And I think the competitive part of Battle Royale would be really fun for Halo. I think a lot of people would really enjoy that. Many people talk about the vehicles in the game, you know, getting a Banshee flying around or whatever, getting a tank, like that kind of stuff. Really, really fun to me. But to me, at the same time, like I really would rather have the more competitive style. But I know that's not going to bring people in. So having randomness is important, and I also think that being able to kind of, you know, reduce it as much as you can without, you know, getting the casual players mad is also very important. So Halo's gonna have to, you know, bump up that vibrance, get some colors in there, and you know, put some, you know, a golden sniper or whatever. And again, those variations. I know a lot about the variations stuff. I can't talk about it. You know, I learned it as a pilot. I can't really speak on it too much. But let me just say, like, some of the stuff you saw in the, you know, in the big team battle and stuff like that. That's only touching, you know, you're not touching anything with, like, it's crazy. I can't say anything, but it's crazy. So just, you know, a lot of things that can happen. A lot of things that can be exciting about Battle Royale. It's just kind of how they do it. And again, I think the thing that's very important that a lot of people talk about is the performance of the game. Is the performance of the game in Battle Royale going to be good when the performance in the normal game is not? And to that, I answer with, you know, the game is going to be separate. Certain Affinity apparently is working on this. I don't think have they confirmed it, Tony? I don't think they confirmed it. They just said that. I think they just said officially that Certain Affinity is working more alongside 343, but they did not confirm that there's a Battle Royale involved yet. So that being said, it's, you know, from what Jez Corden said, this is quote from him, it's going to be a completely separate game than Halo. And in that case, I think that, you know, I don't think the same problems are going to be a factor. Now, another thing about the Battle Royale as well, and I've done a lot of research on the leaks and stuff like that, but it's essentially, you know, Certain Affinity is hiring a lot of Unreal Engine people, engineers or whatever, people that work in the Unreal Engine. And to me, that tells me that maybe they're using Unreal Engine in their Battle Royale for Halo and not, you know, using Slipspace. But again, all rumors, not really too sure where they're going to go with that. But I think performance is a very important factor. And I hope that they can get it down. And again, this is kind of a big part of Halo, right, Tony? Like with this Battle Royale, we could literally, like you said before, using your word, have a resurgence. We could literally make a comeback here, and that would be huge, but it has to be done right. Like, it has to be done correct.
I have to agree. I mean, I think it has to be correct as well. And it's so important. It really is to start off on the right foot and to make sure you do things right. And that's why, you know, I would never play mouse and keyboard Halo. It just makes no sense. But, you know, some people see that some people see that Halo's played primarily through the mid-range and close range, and say, oh well, what's important about that, being able to aim,
all right,
and being able to hit your shots, and some people look at that and say, I am happy with mediocrity. And I would rather miss my shots than actually hit them. So it's fine. It's fine. I mean, it's fun. It's funny.
Listen to me. Let me tell you something, because I know deep down you do like mouse and keyboard. So let me tell you something. Playing mouse and keyboard.
It's great
right
for other
now,
games. Absolutely.
No. Playing mouse and keyboard right now in Halo is going to literally pay so much in dividends when Battle Royale comes out. Because you're talking about close range. You can have your close range, and we could check Halo Tracker and see, that I don't miss very often, and you go into that. I don't want to do that though. That's not me. You know what I mean? I don't want. But regardless of how much I miss now, when this game becomes a Battle Royale, mouse and keyboard players are going to do really well, because the long range on controller. Like, think about how difficult it is to shoot from sword side of Catalyst to skewer side, and then times that by 2. You're gonna have, like, for me, I'll BR free. I'll challenge anyone across the map. Like, Lucid, come on, get over here, all right? Like, I'll challenge anyone across the map on M&K. And when the BR comes out, and when we're shooting across the map on the BR, like, man, I'm not gonna get close range. That's stupid. I'm gonna shoot you from long range. And mouse and keyboard is really gonna, I'm telling you, it's gonna shine. You better be worried about M&K. It is going to shine in that Battle Royale, in my opinion. So just get,
And what happens when the circle gets smaller?
When the circle gets smaller, I pull out my bulldog and boom, boom, pop, done. That's it.
You're getting put in the dirt. I would enjoy having your mouse and keyboard on my team for the, if there's 100 players and say it's 4v4s, I would enjoy it for the first few rounds, and then when it goes to that final ring, I'd be, oh great, this guy's a liability. God bless. Oh God, why did we pick up that third controller player?
Oh man, I don't know. Hey, if you're on mouse and keyboard out there, don't listen to Tony, bro. Let me tell you something. Stick with it. Okay, it's rough right now. The game it feels terrible. I know every mouse and keyboard player out there. You know what I'm talking about. There's a lot of input lag. The game, it's definitely, you can get used to it. I mean, you definitely can, but it takes a lot of time. I would stick it out though. If you're a Battle Royale fan, stick it out. Let me tell you, it's gonna pay off in the end. I guarantee it. There's no shot it doesn't. It's going to pay off in the end. But again, Battle Royale, man, we have to, it has to be correct, okay? It has to be perfect. And I'm talking like utilize the pilots, utilize whoever, get an open beta going. Don't look at the controller on the screen. It's not important. But Tony's putting a controller up on the screen so everyone can see. That controller looks pretty cool, Tony. I like the purple. But yeah, I'm telling you right now, this has to be perfect, man. Like, this is this is the last kind of saving grace. And at the same time, you think with the Battle Royale, you're going to kind of remove, Arena, and like Arena's not going to be popping. Do you see Call of Duty, man? Like their majors are still like really like strong in terms of viewership. Like they still pull a lot of you. And I guarantee a lot of those viewers, guess where they came from? From Warzone. Guaranteed, man. Because when you play Warzone, you're just like, okay, it's a Battle Royale, whatever. But the competitive side of the game is the arenas. You want to play the competitive side, you watch the arena style of Call of Duty. And I think that's going to be the same for Halo, man. I think the Battle Royale can only help the arena side of the game. And right now, we need a lot of help because this game, it's in a rough spot. Everyone knows it. Unfortunately, it is where it is. And there's not too much we can do about it. There's not, we just got to wait. I think, honestly, in my opinion, I think we have another 1.5 to 2 years before this game is where it needs to be. And, maybe a relaunch is something that happens. Or, if you watch Minblitz's video, maybe a relaunch is something we need. Maybe a relaunch of the game where everything's kind of different and we have just a massive, by a relaunch, I mean, we're playing the game, whatever. We have a massive update at one point that covers everything we need in order to get the game in a good state. We all love this game, man. I mean, that's why we're making content for it. I love it. I love it to death. I've been playing Apex to kind of keep myself sane because sometimes ranked can really get frustrating. But But you know, I really do think that you know, a Battle Royale could change a lot of things.
Yeah, I mean, I would have to agree, and I'm really excited for the future of Halo, both for mouse and keyboard and controller. I really am excited because I still have fun playing this game through the issues that we see. I still think the core is there, and yeah, I think there's a bright future for Halo, and as much as I know people have been patient, I think with a little bit of time. I think we have something beautiful here, and maybe Halo Infinite can still go down as the greatest Halo of all time.
Game is so good, man. I like I said. Okay, so I got to kind of bring this up. This game, I don't know about any of you guys. So like as a content creator, I've been a content creator for 8 years. You know, we talked about this in our first podcast. I've been doing this for 8 years. I have 4 kids, and I've been able to sustain somehow, some way. Don't ask me. I don't know. This is all I do. This is my job. For me. And I actually forgot where I was going with this, but for me, Halo being in the current state it's in and still being able to do well is incredible. And I think that, you know, as the fixes come over time, I think that more people will come back. Will we get all those people back that we lost? I don't know. I mean, that's going to be, it was 250K on Steam, probably another 250K on Xbox. I don't know. But I think that, over the years, I think people will come back and try it out. When you have a free-to-play game and you see a massive update, I mean, let me know from you guys. Like, would you come back to Halo if you, or another game, for instance, if it like in the beginning it was just really rough, and then a year down the road you see that it says massive update and everyone's talking about it. I think you'd give it a shot, right? I mean, I would. Especially if the viewer reaction is great, you know, the crowd reaction. I'd probably hop on a couple streams and see what they think about it. But again, it's not over till it's over. I think that Halo definitely has a future, 100%, and the Battle Royale will definitely help that. So if you're not on board with Battle Royale, get on board with it. Trust me, it's good for the game. It's good for the ecosystem. It's good for Halo in general. But we need something. Hopefully we continue to get these drop pods every month. I don't know if you guys know about we have the June drop pod, waiting for the July drop pod. I think that's going to be a big one. Like, what kind of things are we getting fixed in this drop pod? That's another one. And unfortunately, there hasn't been a lot of communication. But once this drop pod comes out, hopefully we get some big things, figured out and stuff like that. But anyway, Tony, that's going to wrap it up for us here today at HCS Source Episode 3. Do you have anything you want to talk about real quick before we end? Any closing thoughts, etc.? Let them know.
No, I mean, I think it's a great show, and hope you guys enjoyed it as well. If you guys want to catch me and active, we do content full time and whatnot. I'm on twitch.tv/whynot_b_casting, same as my YouTube as well. I'm on the Twitter, which is right down below. And it's been an honor being able to create content for Halo, and I want to continue to do so, and I want to continue to help this game grow. And thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. Also, a big thank you to the supporters. Like Tony had said, a big thank you to supporters. I know we have a whole bunch of people listening on Spotify that all realized I put out a 3-minute episode last week. I'm so sorry. I'm still learning this too. But a shout out to those guys. Shout out to anyone that watches on YouTube as well. I believe we just passed 100 subs, so that's really good to start off. Episode 3, etc. But again, let us know in the comments if you guys like this this show, and we're gonna branch off as well. We're gonna maybe talk about some Apex at some point because we both love Apex. We're gonna talk about a whole bunch of things, but this is your one-stop shop for HCS news. Any updates and any of that happens in the scene, we will be the ones to put it all into a nice package for you and talk about it so you can listen to it on your way to work, etc. Don't forget, like I said, we're on Spotify, we're on YouTube as well. Our Twitters are in the comment section below, and then you can see our Twitches from there as well. Thank you guys very much for watching. I really do appreciate you. Thank you, and we'll see you again next week, same time, Wednesday, 10 p.m. Eastern.